Have you ever asked yourself, what are the best practices and the most common ways that states successfully administer the NYTD survey to young people? This video will demonstrate scenarios of you taking the NYTD survey so that you can see some options of how to administer the survey in your state. Providing young people with a variety of options to take the survey may help you increase your completion rate. Successful administration of the NYTD survey is extremely important to collect outcomes, data, information directly from youth about their experiences during and after exiting the foster care system. Listening to the voices of young people can guide decisions and improve services for themselves and other youth. As you will see in this video, there are many ways to administer the survey, but there are a few things they all have in common. The administration of the survey is made young people friendly by letting the young person choose where, when, and how to complete the survey. States should have several different options for administering the survey to best accommodate young people. For example, the survey could be completed in person, which can include a quiet, private location, date, and time chosen by the youth, or in the survey administrator's office. Over the telephone, which can include the use of virtual call platforms such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp, or a video call. When this option is chosen, the questions will be asked over the telephone or virtual call option, when the survey administrator will enter the young person's response into the NYTD database. Electronically, which can include an email link to an electronic survey hosted on a website, an email link to an electronic survey form, such as Google Forms, Smartsheet, or SurveyMonkey, a quick response, referred to as a QR code, hosted on state's website, or included in a letter mailed to the young person to complete electronically. An email with an attachment to be completed and returned, such as a fillable PDF or Microsoft Word document. An email with an attached PDF sent to the young person or supportive adult that is printed, completed, scanned, and returned. Lastly, by mail, in which a paper survey and self-addressed stamped envelope are provided to the young person for completion and return, or includes a QR code for young people to access. It typically takes around 15 minutes to complete the NYTD survey with the young person, but varies on factors such as how engaged and focused the young person is, and the number of additional questions states ask. Remember to be patient and meet the young person where they are at. Let's walk through some survey administration scenarios together. This first scenario is meant to demonstrate survey administration best practice. It shows an in-person meeting between a survey administrator, in this case, an independent living worker, and a young person in a private location. The young person chooses the location and time of the meeting, which helps to ensure that the youth is comfortable with the setting. The young person completes the survey as the independent living coordinator asks the questions. The young person gives the completed survey to the independent living coordinator at the end of the meeting so the worker can take the survey with them and enter the responses into the NYTD database. A better scenario would be for the worker to have a laptop or tablet and be able to enter the young person's answers directly into the NYTD database. Let's take a look.
Hey Cody, it's great to meet with you in person. Remember, you can call me James, but I use he, him pronouns. As an independent living worker, I'm responsible for getting together with young people like yourself to go over the NYTD survey and help you complete it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm glad you're doing okay today. I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. This private conference room you suggested at your college is a great place to meet. What are you studying in college?
I'm focused on my general education courses right now, but I'm really interested in IT.
The IT field is great. There are so many different areas you can go into. Are you involved in any activities?
I'm with a group where I volunteer in the community, and I'm also in the drama club, but really I've spent my time studying and working.
It sounds like you're very busy and have lots of interests. You may remember taking the survey when you were 17, the incentive you got for taking it. This survey will be very similar. You do not have to take the survey, and you do not have to answer a question if you do not want to. The answers you provide to me today get entered into a database and will be used to improve services and programs that help young people transition from foster care. Your name and identifying information is kept confidential. The survey will take about 15 minutes to complete, and we'll talk about the incentives you can receive when you are finished. Are you okay with continuing?
Sure, I'm happy to answer some questions.
There are different ways we can do this. I have 2 copies of the survey. You can read along as I go through the survey and ask you the questions, and I can fill in the survey, or as I read through the survey, you can fill in the responses yourself. Another option would be for you to take the survey on your own, and I'm here for you to ask questions when they come up. How would you like to continue?
I think I'd like to fill in the questions myself while you ask the questions, but do you have a pen or pencil I could use?
Sure, I have a pencil right here. That way it will be easier if you need to change an answer. I do want to note that some questions have follow-up questions, depending on how you answer, and other questions have required follow-ups, so we will pay close attention to those questions when we get there. Some of these are additional NYTD questions we've added to our survey to hear from young people about ways we may make changes to improve independent living services. You may know these as IL services. Let's get started. Can you please confirm the survey we are using is the correct one for 19-year-olds? This is on the cover page?
Yeah, it says NYTD 19 on the cover page.
Great. Thank you for confirming that we both have the right survey. Go ahead and fill out your name, your birth date, my name, which is James Kent, and May 12th, 2022 is today's date. Let me know when you're finished.
Okay, I'm finished.
As we go through the questions, you can see that each one has a brief description to clarify what is being asked. I can help further explain if needed. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I don't have any questions, but I might as we go along.
No problem. I want you to feel comfortable and ask any questions that come up. The first question is, currently, are you employed full-time? As defined on the survey, that means working at least 35 hours per week at one or multiple jobs.
No, I'm in college right now, so I only work a few days a week at a restaurant, but I'll put no.
That makes sense then, but you'd put no for this one. So the next question is, currently, are you employed part-time?
I'll check yes since I'm working a few hours at the restaurant.
Absolutely. Question 3 is, in the past year, did you complete an apprenticeship, internship, or other on-the-job training, either paid or unpaid? Examples of this would be trade schools like auto mechanics or an IT internship.
No, I plan to do an internship next year, but I haven't done one yet, so I'll put no.
The NYTD survey administrator continues asking each question with the young person as the youth selects their answers on the paper survey.
Cody, question 9 is, currently is there at least one adult in your life other than your caseworker to whom you can go for advice or emotional support?
I see here on this survey it gives examples of who these adults might be. Do they have to be related to me?
That's a great question. It can be confusing because the adult might be a different person to each young person. No, you do not have to be related to the adults.
Okay, it's a yes then. I have a woman in my life who's like a mom for me, and I can go to her for advice.
Thank you for sharing who that supportive adult is and how they helped you and continue to be there for you. I'm so glad you have her. Cody, thank you for answering all of those questions. Do you have anything you want to ask before we complete the final section?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, we want to ask you about ways we can stay connected and the incentive options we have for you for completing the survey today. We'll be reaching out once more around your 21st birthday for the third and final survey. It'll be helpful if I can get contact information for you so I can easily reach you when it's time. I'll also reach out a few times between now and then to check in. How do you prefer to be contacted?
Texting is the best way to get a hold of me.
I will text you.
The meeting concludes with the NYTD survey administrator working with the young person to gather current contact information, including mailing address, email address, personal phone numbers, and phone numbers of friends, family members, and supportive adults, and social media platforms used and usernames for each. The NYTD survey administrator collects the survey from the young person, looks it over to make sure it is completely filled out so they can ask the youth if needed, and enters the responses into the database when back in the office. To recap scenario 1, the survey administrator and youth met in person at a location and time of the young person's choosing to complete the NYTD survey. The survey administrator explained participation is voluntary, how the information is reported, and the level of confidentiality. The young person can decline to answer questions and explained how NYTD data is used. The youth gave informed consent to complete the survey after this was explained to them. The young person chose how they wanted to have the survey administered to them. The survey administrator read the questions aloud while the youth filled out the answers on the paper copy, providing descriptions and answering questions if needed. At the end of the survey administrator discussed incentive options, preferred contact method, contact information, including mailing address, and email address, personal phone numbers, and phone numbers of friends, family members, and supportive adults were collected from the young person to support regular contact with the young person between survey years and for the completion of the survey at age 21. The survey administrator will transfer the information from the paper copy of the survey into the NYTD database, including the pronouns the youth uses when they return to their office, keeping the paper copy of the survey and the young person's case record, and uploading a scanned copy to the electronic case record as applicable. Thank you for watching.